Welcome back to Where You Live. We're talking about the licensing of association managers. Is that necessary? What do you think? Give us your thoughts. Again, you'd give us a call on our hotline at 952-224-2668. We'll be happy to play those messages and comments on next week's show or any additional questions that you have. My guest and co-host is Dan Greenstein from Bernick Lifson, and we're talking about what's taking place in Illinois, where there is an additional licensing just for association managers. And we have a disagreement, Dan and I, on this issue. We're going to kind of talk this out. Dan, now there's a part of me, I understand, I think, where you're coming from about it. It's good to have a higher level and standard that you want to set, because in a homeowners association, you don't want people that are taken advantage of because you're dealing with people's homes, people's finances. There's a lot of responsibility there, and there should be a high standard, no doubt.
That's correct. But let me ask you a question, Gene.
Okay.
I know where you're going.
All right.
I think the listeners are following from the last discussion. But here's my question. What does being an association manager, what do those skills, function, responsibilities have to do with what you learn and what you do as a broker or a real estate agent?
That's a good question, and here's my answer. I think that that becoming a licensed real estate agent is necessary for a couple of reasons. Number one, it teaches. It doesn't teach about association management, but neither does it tell how to sell a home. Doesn't tell how to take care of a commercial property either. Doesn't tell you how to take care of a rental property. What it does tell you, it tells you the importance of the fiduciary relationship you have with your clients.
Good.
It talks about in that class when you are becoming licensed. It talks about what your obligations are. It talks about conflicts of interest, and how to deal with that. It talks about a lot of ethics. Here's one thing that is adhered to by anybody who is a real estate agent, and this is according to the Association of Realtors. And of course, when I got my real estate license, I became a member, and it says this. It says, realtors shall not undertake to provide specialized professional services concerning a type of property or service that is outside their field of competence unless they engage the assistance of one who is competent on such types of property or service. So one of the things that we're taught is that we need to understand first and foremost that we can't go outside of our area of competency. So I have a license to sell or manage property management. I am not involved with real estate sales. I'm going to refer that on to someone else who does. I would say that it's probably the same as for an attorney, is it not? I mean, when you practice law, you do so because you've taken a test, and that is the bar exam, correct?
That's correct.
But after the bar exam, does that prepare you into with any of the specialty areas that you would serve, whether it be family law, association management, real estate?
It does not. It does not.
So what is there additional licensing that an attorney needs to practice family law?
No.
Is there additional license that they need?
I can see your eyes lighting up. You like this. I know.
So that's my point. Attorneys are able to practice law because they have passed a minimum competency test. my my understanding always has been that has already taken place for people in property management, but with the real estate licensing. And once I have the real estate licensing, I have a basic competency or level of understanding. But that doesn't mean that I'm able to sell property or manage property. I now go on for further education, and over the years, I know I take a look at all the people that are my colleagues at New Concepts, and we have people that have so many professional designations it looks like alphabet soup.
I've seen those.
And one of the other issues that I have is with a law like this with Illinois. I'm wondering, Dan, is this a move for one agency or organization to come across and say, "Hey, we've got the inside skinny on what it means to train people, and this is a source of revenue for them, a source for them to get greater credibility in people's eyes." And to me, I take a look at the fact that I think there's a number of great organizations. You're a member of MHA. I
Yes,
am too.
right.
A great organization. They have courses on how to become a more professional association manager. I'm a member also of IREM, Institute of Real Estate Management, another great organization, and they have courses specifically designed for association management. Community Associations Institute. I'm on the board of CAI.
Right.
They've got great courses. I don't know that I would want any one of those to be it, and saying that everybody's got to go through just that one organization, because I don't know if in the long run that the clients are served best. I think the more competition there is, I think ultimately the better the consumer is served in the end.
Well, I can't disagree with much that you've just said. I will say this: we're a couple of kind of middle-aged or old dogs. We've been doing this for a long time. And it's easy to look at our own ethics, our own experience, and say, why would something like a licensing to be a manager, why would that be necessary if I'm already a real estate broker or a real estate agent? But I want to take it a step further. The work that each does, if you're a property manager for an association or you're a broker or a sales agent, the work you do is very different. And when you become a property manager, sometimes you can be responsible for hundreds of thousands of dollars and the finances of a very large association.
Yep.
And the going out and contracting for huge amounts of improvements on some large associations. And in my view, that should require a special license. And because the license does this, yes, somebody's going to have to teach the class, and I don't know if that's someone in private industry or that's part of the government licensing. But yes, someone's going to have to teach the class, someone's going to have to administer the licensing, and there's going to be a fee, no doubt about it. But when it's all said and done, you've got another layer of protection for the homeowners who are trusting in that property manager not to do things underhanded, not to take steps that are not in the best interest of the homeowners, and more importantly, if they turn out not to be honest, or if they turn out to be reckless, and maybe they don't intend to harm the association, but let's say their reckless behavior causes a financial loss or other types of loss for that association, there is a government board that can take actions to remedy the situation and to let other people know what has happened.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I guess my thinking is I think it's already in place with the real estate license. I think we both agree, no matter what kind of laws that are enacted, that's not going to prevent someone from being dishonest or taking advantage of someone. That's always going to take place. Right. But I do think that with the real estate license, again, I guess I would go back and say it's already in place because there is an organization that deals with finances. Because as a real estate agent and a broker, I have a trust account that's identified by the state. I have to show that I'm not commingling money of my different clients. I have to show a different set of accountability in and also I guess disclosing dealing with finances.
Sure.
I think a lot of that is there. Ultimately, it's probably not going to stop. I think what we're seeing here in Illinois is going to probably continue to take place. I think this has probably been the case in maybe at least 6 or 7 different states now.
Sure.
And so I think it's going to probably happen. It's inevitable, and at that point, it won't be anything that I'll stop or be able to stop or prevent.
Of course.
Ultimately, it won't be bad because I think the level of professionalism that company that I think like mine has, or a lot of my competitors, we're beyond that that minimum anyway.
Absolutely. And we're certainly, if all the companies operated the way you operate your company, this wouldn't be an issue. Yeah. But, we know there's bad apples out there. Yeah. And one easy way, they're in charge. They're administering the directives of the board. They're giving advice to the board of directors on very large projects and dealing with very large amounts of money. They need, I believe, a specialized license really just for the protection of those homeowners.
Yeah. And I suppose the reason we're going to see that for homeowner associations as compared to apartments or commercial property management is because investors of investment properties you're considered as the saying goes, wolf dealing with wolf.
Yes.
Versus the idea of a homeowners association people that may not have the same understanding, so they refer to that relationship as the wolf and the sheep, and that's probably why.
And it's probably accurate, and that's why I think this is a good idea. The point you raise triggers in my mind that homeowners are not that familiar with the operations and administration of the association, so it wouldn't take much for an unethical or criminal type of manager to take some actions, and I think the protection is needed.
Yeah, and you're probably right. One thing that this doesn't even address either is self-managed associations, and that's probably a majority of all homeowner associations in the United States. There's probably more of them than there are managed by professional organizations.
And I'm sure this will cause some outrage, but I'd like to see those volunteer homeowner associations be required to take some classes and at least obtain some type of certificate.
Well, a good discussion, Dan. I always appreciate your thoughts on that. Folks, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to finally deal with this situation in North Carolina where the association said to the city, I don't want the street anymore. You can have it. More after these messages.